Nashville, raising Nashville, raising Nashville, raising Nashville.
Welcome to this week's episode of Raising Nashville. I'm Bucky.
Juicebox.
Oh boy.
So this is our 25th episode that we're recording right now.
Holy shit.
I know. Did you guys think we would make it this far?
I don't know, man.
I thought we would make it this far. I don't know about our listenership.
That's yet to be.
I mean, yeah.
seen.
I think maybe our wives are still listening at this point. I think my mom might still be listening. I don't know about anybody else.
So we probably got about 10.
Yeah, I think my folks are listening. They're still behind though. My dad, I think, just listening to that gene editing one.
So to put that in perspective real quick, when we did our old podcast, the Red Box Reviews, I think we did somewhere between 40 and 50 episodes total.
Yep.
And that was over, what, like a 3-year span or something like that? So
Absolutely.
we've been doing pretty good to put out some stuff pretty consistently, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of what we've done.
And about, half of our episodes have been good, maybe?
I'm going to say all of them have been good.
All of them have been all right.
We speak to a certain kind of audience.
I agree. And one thing I wanted to do is kind of pull back the curtain, if you will, a little bit on this and just like kind of talk about how some people may be able to tell, but we record these episodes generally a few weeks before they're released, just so we have time to edit and we have time to, just deal with life and stuff like that. So we're always a little bit ahead of what we're recording. So because of that, sometimes we'll record the episode and then something will come out in the news or something and, we didn't touch on it, but it's still relevant to our podcast.
Absolutely.
Our timing's been sweet.
We can just say we're trailblazing. We're ahead of the game.
I mean, I hate that. Yeah. No matter what we say here, we're going to sound like assholes, but it's like
I am an asshole.
We're in tune.
Yeah, we're in tune with something, I feel like. So, I don't know. That's pretty cool. That's one thing that's like kept it fresh for me. Like editing. For everybody out there, editing a podcast, it's not the most fun thing ever.
And plus, you got to listen to this asshole over here.
It's not easy.
Over and over for
Ask my
hours
wife.
upon.
Anyway, so all that being said, this is our 25th episode. I'll go ahead and put it out there. We're going to take a tiny little break, maybe for about 3 weeks or so, I think. And we're going to come back in October with some new episodes.
We'll call it a mid-season finale.
Yeah, we can call it that. So for the title, I was trying to think about something like that, when you're going on a break. So I'm thinking I'm calling this one, It's Not You, It's Us.
Oh, that's actually perfect.
We need a break.
That's great. I like it.
So anyway, all that being said, let's go back and review some of our episodes and maybe talk about stuff that got left out or maybe stuff that came up, or if anybody has any notes. We're not going to like go through and describe every episode, and we're not really going to listen to any clips. Maybe towards the end we'll listen to some clips.
Sure.
Oh, that's perfect, actually.
Yeah, we'll just do some updates.
Yeah, I thought we were actually going to cover a subject this week, and I don't have to do any research. This is about...
that's right, because if you've done it once, you're an expert. So
You're absolutely right. If you've learned anything from this podcast, that is one of those. But, the best part about this week is we're just going back, because when I go listen to podcasts, and I find new ones that I want to listen to, I don't go to the pilot episode. I always go pretty deep into it because I know at that point they've got their shit together. They're rolling. Yeah. They're rolling along. And this is something that I can actually judge this off of. So if somebody is jumping in on our 25th episode and they haven't catch the previous 24...
They wouldn't have gotten that joke I just told.
And they're about to find out. So it's kind of like, before you release something, you cut previews. I say this feels to me like the end previews.
The end previews?
Post-credit scene, if you will.
Oh, one of those. Okay.
Well, so yeah, let's just jump into it.
Well, all right. I've got an update on our very first episode, the spanking episode. So I just kind of dove back into it for a little bit to check things out, see if there's been any news-related items.
You dove back into spanking, like you've been trying out spanking again?
Yeah, I got my swing down.
Yeah, you got your swing back.
Yeah, I got my swing back and got it down. It's all in the legs, apparently. Yeah. So, but what I found out was there is a study that's no. It's all anti. It's still bad. Spanking is still bad. And I just want to see if either of you have spanked your kid since we had the episode.
I have, absolutely.
What did Levon do? Who'd you spank?
Not a 9-year-old. I've spanked Levon. I've grabbed him by his arm and I've given him a couple of pats. Don't do that.
What did he do to deserve it?
Oh, many things. He's 2 years old. He does things
Lip
all the
back.
time. I've smacked him on the hand a bunch of times.
Okay, so I have not spanked my kid.
Thank God.
Well, he's like a year.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything to deserve to be spanked yet.
Well, hey, that's my update. I don't know.
That's it. He hasn't accidentally spit on you. Okay. Well, I thought we would bring my daughter in and ask her a few questions about spanking.
Okay.
All right.
So we can find out the actual truth.
Yeah, absolutely. Directly from the kid's mouth. All right. Here's Samantha. So I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Do you know what a spanking is?
Yeah.
What is it?
Somebody hits your butt.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Somebody or just your parents?
Just your parents.
Okay.
Have you ever had a spanking?
When I was going to put a coin in my mouth?
You were gonna put a coin in your mouth? Who spanked you?
You.
Oh. So the anti-spanker is spanking for
Right,
our
I said-
listenership.
I said I did. That must have been the thing. It wasn't an outlet. It was she had something in her mouth.
Samantha, did it hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did spanking make you feel?
Bad.
Yeah. Did you cry?
No.
Do you think you're going to grow up and spank your kids?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, why?
Because it skips a generation.
Okay. Well, have I spanked you since that one time?
Yeah.
No. What? That is a fib. When did I spank you?
When I was about to put that sting in my mouth?
Yeah, with a coin. But other than that, have I given you a spanking other than that, or mommy?
No.
Right, because we don't like it, right?
So our second episode, we covered Opryland, the rise and demise of Opryland, pretty much.
Which, by the way, has been our most listened to episode.
That's great. So
wild.
people are still into Opryland. Here's my update. It's still not there.
I thought you were going to say it's coming back.
It's been gone for a while. But for all of you thrill seekers out there, Opryland Hotel actually has just opened a water park, and it is pretty awesome.
What's it called again? Sound waves?
Sound waves. You actually have to stay at Opryland Hotel to go there, but I think it would be worth it for like a staycation if you're a Nashvilleian out there.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what's awesome is the fact that our tax dollars help pay for it, but regular people can't even go. You have to stay at the hotel
Yeah.
and then pay to go in. So that's pretty cool.
At like $500, cost to you.
Okay.
Davidson County resident.
That's an update. Because I didn't know that.
I think
And
like
now-
you don't like the way it's going. It's
Well,
like, well,
no, now I just push this awesome water park and I just get shot down by...
nobody cares. Really.
I mean,
yeah.
I still want to go to the water park. I'm not saying that. I just think,
Because our tax dollars, you paid for some of that
Yeah,
water park.
I just don't think that you should have to stay at the hotel to go to it. If they want to charge $60 to go, fine. But,
Yeah.
don't make me stay at your stupid fucking hotel.
It's true. But fun fact out there, it is the largest indoor hotel in America outside of the city of Las Vegas. Up next, our third episode was our first pop culture episode, which when we talk about being ahead of our time, I mean, we were pretty on point with this thing. Releasing it right when talking about the Fire Festival was our pop culture episode.
yeah.
And we were on point with the simultaneous documentaries that came out on 2 different networks. And we had fun with a certain Billy...
Man Titties McGee. What's his name? Billy Man Titties
Man-Titties
McFarland.
McFarland.
Yeah,
Billy
that-
Man Titties is one of my favorite episodes. Go back there and listen to our Fire Festival episode. Update on that. Billy is still in jail.
Not only is he still in jail, he is in the same prison as, for you Jersey Shore fans out there, Mike the Situation, whatever the fuck his last name is.
God.
Man, I bet Mike is his hype man in prison.
What did
Oh
Mike,
my God.
What did Mike do?
Like tax evasion or some shit like that.
You know they're conjuring up the next thing while they're in jail.
I bet
for
he's
sure.
selling fake tickets to a fake concert in prison.
Yeah, they're probably in contact with Ja every day. He's ready. He's ready to jump back on that board. But the funny thing that did come out related to the Fire Festival, not directly related, but for those of you who remember the disaster of the Fire Festival, was this recent Woodstock 50 event that was supposed to happen in upper New York.
Yeah, I don't think they ever even locked down a location for that because it's like they tried to do it someplace and it didn't work out, and then they tried to do it at another place in New York. Did they want to try to do it at the actual location first or something like that?
But that obviously couldn't host nearly as many people as it did back in the day. So they tried to move it to Watkins Glen International, which is a speedway up there, like in the middle of a NASCAR track, which doesn't seem too Woodstocky to me. And then they tried to move it the third time to a venue that, I don't know, it holds about 20,000 people. It's kind of like Starwood back in the day. So it was a complete disaster. People were buying in. They moved the dates. They moved the locations. This thing has been going on forever, and people are still buying tickets. I mean, they have some headliners like, the biggest people out: Taylor Swift, Jay-Z, The Killers,
Arlo Guthrie,
Miley Cyrus, Santana, Dead and Company, Chance the Rapper.
I mean, they were pretty big artists.
Imagine Dragons.
Still not better than, it's not like you're recreating Woodstock. You basically put a Coachella East. That's what I read into it.
Yeah.
And they expected all these people to come because it's the 50th anniversary, and things just started happening. And I have a feeling that there is definitely going to be a documentary on this coming out.
Oh, you think so?
If people out there have followed it, it's just there's too many weird things going on. Like they held artists to their contracts. Even though they were moving, artists were trying to bail. They wouldn't let them out, and it became a standoff. It really was a crazy thing.
Will you watch it and tell me about it?
I will, or we might review it on a future podcast.
There's no way it's going to be as crazy as Fire, though, because people didn't go to the concert and get trapped in a different country or whatever.
True. You didn't have. I mean, you probably had to take a plane, but at least you were still on the mainland, so to speak.
Yeah, you're still in New York or whatever.
So up next, we got back to the kids episodes, and we covered YouTube Kids.
But when we recorded our episode, it was pre the Momo challenge, which was a hoax. Which do I need to explain it? So the Momo.
Hold on. Yeah, please explain what the Momo challenge is, because I'm thinking of the ice water challenge and the bottle cap kicking challenge.
Well, it's a little weird. So the challenge is basically false information that kids are being challenged by this Momo character in direct messages and online forums. And anyway, so they're being directed by this Momo to do harmful, violent acts of behavior and then eventually suicide, right?
And if I'm not mistaken, the Momo looks like the thing that crawled out of the well and
it's like a cross between that and like a bird or something.
Yeah, it's creepy looking for sure.
Yeah,
and it's anyway. So
anyway, that was a hoax.
It turned out to be a hoax. And
so Momo wasn't reaching out to these kids.
No, it's all a hoax. But it just kind of also shows then. People are saying that that Momo's popping up in these videos that kids are unintentionally watching. So they want to watch Sesame Street on YouTube, but then they get Momo. And so
we directly covered that.
Hysteria. Yeah. So, we did prior to Momo kind of hitting the news big time, yada, yada, yada. So,
yeah.
I don't know. There is that. So, yeah, YouTube still bad. If you let your kids watch it with them so you know what they're watching.
Another really crazy thing out there, and this is not quite on YouTube Kids per se, but a new big thing out there is these deep fakes. I don't know if you guys have been looking at any of this stuff, but it's getting pretty crazy. There's an account out there on Instagram called The Fakening. If you're interested, they do a bunch of stuff, and it's more lighthearted. They did one where they took Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec's face. And put it on every single person in the Full House trailer. Everybody is Ron Swanson's face.
That sounds great.
It's entertaining, but at the same time, it's this is kind of scary because it's becoming more and more if some digital artist on Instagram can make this, who knows what people that are
Sure, yeah, they want to
be. You got $1 billion to throw behind this technology. Nothing's real,
Yeah,
so
the technology.
Look that up if you're interested in it. There's some pretty crazy shit out there.
I absolutely will. And then episode 5, we kicked it back to Nashville for an episode we did on movies that were filmed in this great city.
So another interesting fact, that is our lowest listened to podcast.
Great. Updates on Filmed in Nashville. There are currently no movies being filmed in Nashville, but if you are looking to be a extra or a cast member in a film that is being filmed in Nashville, feel free to go on Location Casting's Facebook page and sign up. I was on there today. It's awfully interesting what you have to fill out to do that.
We need to get that headshot of me so that I can upload it to this whatever you just said.
Yeah.
All right, that's what we'll do in our time off.
Then we went back to a children's episode and covered books. Books that we loved, books we don't love that we read our children. Mm-hmm. You guys got any updates on that?
I mean, we're more into reading now. Our kid's a little bit older, so he can appreciate it more. We had to put all the books with thin pages up because he loves pulling them out and he loves looking at them, but man, he just will rip those pages out. So we're all thick page books now. Little Blue Truck, which Bucky, I think you said was
one of my favorites.
One of your favorites. That is one of our kids' favorites. He loves that so much. So I mean, that's like a nightly read.
I will be happy to read that to him anytime.
Yeah, but my only update is still reading.
Still reading. You got that in my head before the podcast. I do have an update. Do you have any updates on
No.
books?
You do books, and then I'll do books.
Okay, so my update is you guys listen to the podcast. If you didn't, feel free to go back. There were some books I hated on and some books I loved. And since then, I've had to read more in-depth and more vibrant books because he's getting a little bit older, right? So it's not just one-page, one-word books, right?
Sure.
So recently, my wife actually works for a merchandising company, and she brought home a couple of books she thought I might be interested in. Michael Franti has actually written 2 children's books and illustrated them, and they're currently selling them on tour, and she brought me a copy of both. One's very easy. It's just the lyrics to one of his songs. One of my favorite songs of all time, by the way. It's illustrated.
Lazy.
It is lazy, but it does rhyme. And it's very simple, hence hippieism. The second book is really in-depth. A lot of words in it. It's called Where in the World is Away? And I just wanted to plug this for a second for Michael Franti. It's almost a flawless book. It is actually written by him and another artist. I don't have it right in front of me right now, but it's about recycling. And these 2 kids are walking down the road, and one's about to throw a plastic bottle on the ground. And he says he's throwing it away. And then they go through where the world is away and what happens when you throw it in this away.
So stay tuned. When we come back, we'll be doing an episode all about Michael Ferranti. I feel like.
Yeah, it's in the future. I feel like we're having this fucker on the show.
Well, do you have any updates on books?
Still reading. So my
Lord of the Rings.
I feel like it, man. I feel like books, so at the end of the night, we she still gets 3 books, and she chooses, and she knows what she's doing because, man, my books are getting real lengthy, and I'm like this, and she knows, and I complain about it, and she just laughs. As a matter of fact, you know what? She's still here. Should we just ask her about some books? What kind of books do we like to read at night?
Animal books?
Animal books, okay. Are they really long books?
Yeah.
Why do you pick the really long books?
Because I like them.
But there's...
So you can stay in bed longer.
So you can stay up longer, right?
Who's the best reader, mommy or daddy?
Daddy and mommy.
Ooh,
okay.
Who reads the longest?
Daddy.
Oh, because you've got him wrapped around your finger.
What about, do you like the book The Princess Bride?
No.
Why?
Why?
Because it's too long. I just like books that are animal books that talk.
Oh, animals that talk. Okay.
Okay. Samantha, I got one question. Have you heard our episode on schools?
No.
Oh. Daddy, you gotta let her listen.
No, I don't let her listen.
I wouldn't let our children listen to
I
that.
don't want her listening to you. Well, other than that, Sam, is there anything else you want to say?
Tomorrow, I'm going to go buy Grace Baptist to get my slap bracelet.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll do that.
That is, I will come pick you up if you want to go get your slap bracelet. So up next, it was the first time out of the 2 times this podcast that we went to the movies, or at least we saw a movie, and something we have been anticipating for a very long time. So really quick, we want to go back to the MCU episode and talk about Endgame. We talked about everything up before Endgame. We've now seen it multiple times each.
That was another one too, where it was like we recorded that episode about a month before maybe that movie came out.
And released it the Monday before it came out.
Yeah, so that was like, I mean, there was maybe one preview out at that point. They hadn't released like the second like super hype up preview, so it was.
So our loyal listenership out there should be excited because they've been waiting for our review based on the build up to it, right? My review of the movie, incredible. Not the best in the MCU, but a great ending.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, like this movie was it was borderline flawless. They didn't leave anything open, at least for me. Like it tied up stuff enough.
Yeah, it's super good. I still don't like Ant-Man.
You got to give it up. The final scene when all the portals open and all that shit's going down, and Ant-Man is super giant, and he just sucker punches that flying monster.
Yeah,
it is good, and you get Spider-Man back, which I'm pretty pleased with. It's very good.
So the next week we covered an episode on sheltering. I don't have any updates other than you're still sheltering your kids out there. Don't do it. Like, let them grow up. After that, we covered gene editing, which was one that I was just kind of thrown off by. Was that when we introduced Dr. Hay?
Yeah, that was Dr. Hay.
Dr. Hay was our special guest on that episode, and that was a lot of fun talking with him.
Yeah, we spoke with Dr. Hay a little bit for our update, and apparently, so I dove right back into this, okay? And right now there's something out there called chimeras. And chimeras are basically, it's a hybrid between a human and monkey primate.
Okay.
So, and what they're doing is they made a hybrid, or they're in the attempts of making a hybrid, splicing these genes together so that they can harvest human organs from these animals, these chimeras. And I went ahead and put some money towards one. Guys,
this is all the island of Dr. Moreau to me.
Exactly. I mean, what the hell? Like,
well,
so it's gonna be like an ape with human organs is like the idea there, and then it's like, hey, buddy, we're just
we kind of need this. Like, Bucky, you should probably get a chimera for a new liver.
Yeah, that is messed up, man.
It's just the future.
I feel like we're gonna do another episode on gene editing type technology.
It's gonna be a continual thing.
Yeah, I feel things are still.
We'll try to get Dr. Hay. He's currently on the run. International fugitive.
After gene editing, we went back to Lower Broadway, and we brought it back to Nashville, went down to Lower Broadway, kind of covered an episode on the history of Lower Broadway. The update on that is it's even more congested than it was 2.5, 3 weeks ago when we put out, 2.5, 3 months ago when we put out that podcast.
Yeah. My update is Broadway is still a complete shit show. I mean, we went down there, like last month for the WWE house show or whatever it was. But no, when I was like walking to and from my car, just like, because it wasn't even like, it was a Saturday night, but there was no real events or anything going on downtown. So it was just like the drunkest of the drunk tourist douchebag. Like, people are stumbling around everywhere. It was just, it's becoming like Bourbon Street, honestly.
Yeah. And actually, during that Lower Broadway episode, if you ever want to go back and listen and get the history of Lower Broadway, there was a segment that we didn't deem worthy of that episode that we actually cut out. And we might have a special surprise for you at the end of this episode.
Yeah,
because I have a feeling we might do some outtakes.
Yeah, we'll play that at the end. It's offensive.
For our mid-season finale.
Oh, God. Okay, yeah, now I remember.
So we followed that up with schools. We did an in-depth episode on schools here in Nashville. They are back in session. I bet most of you parents out there are happy that they're back in session. Summer break's over. It's time for us to relax, which sounds very odd. But
I'm with it, man. Well, actually, see, Sam's at the age now that we're doing like homework and stuff, and it's like, oh, dude, this is kind of right. I graduated, so I didn't have to do homework anymore.
When that time comes, I am screwed.
Oh, we're full on with the 9-year-old, but yeah, we got a couple of years with the 2. Update on schools though. If you're in a school here in Nashville, just be wary of the sign-up times for after-school care or clubs, because that stuff fills up really fast. And we found out the other day, my 9-year-old has been on the waiting list for after-school care since he's been in kindergarten, and he just entered the 4th grade. So 4 years he's been on this waiting list.
What?
And no, it's for after school care at a certain public school here in Nashville, which is crazy. So we look at the YMCA and they say they have a waiting list. So I give them a call and I said, when were signups for after school care for this school year? They said February. And I was like, that seems ridiculous to me.
It is crazy. Like, this is not even after school care. This is just daycare. We talked about it before in this episode, how long you need to get, on these waiting lists. Same thing for the Y here. Like, we got our kid on the Y waiting. They don't take infants. They take starting at 1. We got him on the waiting list before he was even born, and just got a call recently that he could go.
It's crazy. It is crazy. So just be aware of sign up times. Clubs are big to kids, especially if you're getting into like kindergarten, elementary school. So be aware of that because we're not always. That's just a suggestion. The next episode we did was about vaccines.
So my only update on this is, besides for just reiterating that you should probably get your kid vaccinated, is I think when we dropped that episode, or when we recorded that episode, there was around 500 confirmed cases of measles. And when that came out in May, I think maybe is when we dropped that episode.
I remember mentioning that I didn't think it was that high.
So since then, which has only been a couple months, it's now up to 1,172 confirmed cases.
So we've
it's almost
doubled.
It's over doubled in, I guess about another 4-month period.
Spreading.
Be on the lookout for those measles. Please vaccinate your children and your animals. Up next, we had Conspiracies episode, which was a really fun one that we did.
That was probably our second most downloaded episode.
Yeah. That's great. That should encourage you to go out there and go back and listen to it if you haven't yet. We covered a couple of different topics. We covered the Denver airport and the conspiracy behind that.
Yep.
We covered the Titanic insurance conspiracy,
which is still my favorite. I don't know. I've never been convinced that a conspiracy was true in such a short period of time.
It's got motive. It's got everything. It's rich.
Maybe we should write a movie on it. That would be great.
What was the one that really sank?
The Olympic. Yeah,
we'll call it the Olympic. We'll get. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Because we can't call it Titanic.
Yeah, we'll start it out with like a deep sea dive, checking out some jewels.
We got to get creative with it. On that episode, we also found out that there was I think there's people living inside of Earth.
Yeah, I don't have an update on that because I haven't been able to charter a flight or expedition up to the North Pole yet. So.
And then finally on that episode, we learned.
On that episode, we learned that Paul McCartney is dead and Billy Shears is still very much alive.
Do you have an update on Billy Shears?
Yes, he just gave an interview about his 3 wives he's had as his pseudonym Paul McCartney, and he was just talking about his wives. And I was like, well, this interview bores me.
Yeah. Well,
good update.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next, we went back into screen time because it was such a big deal. We couldn't cover enough of it on YouTube Kids. And my update is it's gotten worse in our house. Currently, our 9-year-old is without screens, handheld for at least the foreseeable school year.
You have now 15 screens in your house?
We do, and we have limited them to 2. And those are both the TVs in our house, and that is it. Until, like, the foreseeable future. I want to see some grades first. And the following week was a good one for us because we had fun with some wrestling. The history of wrestling.
I think you skipped some episodes there.
Did I?
Well, we did the Tale of Two Festivals, Bonnaroo versus CMA.
I did miss that one. You're absolutely right.
I don't. Well, no.
Let's touch on this because I do have an update.
Okay, let's hear your update.
Yeah. So our episode CMA Fest versus Bonnaroo, as most of you know, they're held on consecutive weekends in Tennessee in the summer. Someone from Bonnaroo, and we did statistics on this. I think it was 1.3 people die per year.
Something like that. But it was no one had died since it was taken over by
Live Nation.
No one had died since then, which was like 3 years ago or 4 years ago.
It was about 3.
Or maybe one person had. But when they took it over, less people died.
No, nobody died,
Well,
actually.
okay.
Until now.
Until this year.
Live Nation, you have your first death on the books for Bonnaroo, 2019.
Are you happy?
I'm not happy.
You're smiling.
I'm
Yeah,
happy
you
Live Nation's taking a hit on something.
Well, yeah.
Is
yeah.
that how?
I don't know. It's not a bragging right. I apologize if I seem like an asshole.
Somebody did die.
Somebody died. It's not. I'm sorry. Moment of silence. Okay, and it wasn't drug related, from what I understand, but
Yeah,
more
it was
likely-
like health problems.
Serial
it was
killer?
health problems, and the dad was actually there with the
I
kid.
wish.
So sad that somebody
Oh.
died, but
was a
they're
kid?
holding up their statistic.
Did you say he was a kid?
It wasn't a kid. It was like a 22-year-old
Yeah.
guy
Oh.
that was with his dad.
So maybe I should have given my update first because it's less heavy than that.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to talk about how there was a. I mean, I didn't go, so I don't know. And like we talked about on the episode, I'd never been. So
I did go, and it was great.
all right.
But
So what'd you think about the new entrance? Because online, that's all everybody was talking about was like they got rid of whatever the old
the
arch
arch.
and built some video wall or something like that, and people were super butthurt about it.
They were, and that was a big deal that they burned that arch. And I went, and I specifically made it a point to come back and see it at night from the stages, because I saw it during the day and it was awful. I saw it in the pictures, it was awful. I love the arch. I didn't really, to be honest with you, I didn't care. Came back at night, that shit tripped me out.
I just don't know why they didn't build another arch and just put video screens on it. Like, video screens are so adaptable at this point, they could totally do that. They don't need to make a giant black box that's video screens. That's just because, yeah, during the day it did look stupid as hell.
It looked stupid during the day. At night, it was massive. I mean, the pictures didn't do it justice. I mean, it was huge.
Yeah, no,
And
I'm sure it was cool, but they just could have built the same thing with just video screens on it. I don't know. So that's the only thing I have. Another episode I think you skipped was Dad, I Got You a Tie.
Oh, I didn't even know if we wanted to bring up the Father's Day episode.
Yeah, I don't really have any updates on that. I just have one question. Old boy, how's the PlayStation 5?
Fucking awesome. It's the best, dude.
Then we did Wrestling City, USA.
Wrestling City, USA was one of my favorite to record. One, it was night. Two, we had our
Special guest.
our special guest who was our local, what did I call him? A wrestling historian? Yeah. Charles
accurate.
Taylor King II, who has actually made such an impression on us during that episode. You should go back and listen to it, that we've actually brought him on to kind of a segment that we touch on. And he has transitioned from Charles Taylor King II to Fact Checker Charlie, because he has been our number one fan, and he always contacts and DMs us facts that we got wrong.
I would say it's not even based on how good he did on that podcast, and he was great on it. It's just based on the fact that at 7 a.m. on Monday morning, he's texting us with all the things we got wrong in the podcast. It's like, good Lord, dude, what time did you wake up? This
The
just was
episode came
uploaded
out
like
an hour
3
ago.
hours ago.
I can't wait till he sends us a fact on this episode where he corrects Bucky for saying weary instead of wary.
Wow.
Okay, so we had what Bucky keeps trying to call our trilogy episode of, when you find out you have a kid, the hospital,
Star
after
Wars.
that. I don't feel like there's anything to update on that because we're all past it at this point, right?
There isn't, and we are past it. But when he refers to trilogy, we talked about 18 straight months of life for a dad, starting at the day you found out to the day that kid came out, and day you found out to 9 months after he was born.
Right.
So if you're looking for a roadmap to life from three awesome dudes here in Madison, check it out. You're welcome.
Yeah, that was the nicest thing anybody said.
Yeah,
to me
it
all
was.
day.
They were fun episodes to do. I think people liked them, kind of liked them, or whatever. But yeah, we don't. There's no updates on those.
And then the guys from Raising Nashville took a field trip, and it was our only field trip this year
So far.
so far in our first half of this season. We went to the Nashville Zoo at Grassmere.
Show did. It's cool.
Yeah, it's great.
It's still there.
We
I went
recommend-
back. I've been back. Well, only once since we went, and the gibbons were not out, so it's kind of a disappointment. Like there was
Whoa.
one of them like way up in the top of the tree just chilling, and we went the same thing like right when they opened, and it was like completely different.
Think they're on vacation.
Maybe they're just like F this. I'm
So
tired of
you're saying
performing.
there's ups and downs at the Nashville Zoo? because that was my favorite thing.
For sure. Because honestly, the time that we went was when the gibbons monkeys were like the most active I had seen them. Same with everything. Like we got to see the rhinoceroses out. That's kind of rare sometimes. We didn't see the giraffes. I've seen the giraffes the other times both. But
a few folks I talked to, that have been going to the zoo lately. I'm like, man, you need to go check out that Plaza Mariachi. Yeah,
I've actually talked about that multiple times as well.
Yeah, pushing people towards
are you
that.
telling more people to go to the zoo or to Plaza Mariachi?
Well,
Plaza Mariachi.
They're already going to the zoo. I'm like, well, you need to go eat lunch.
Gotcha.
No, this girl told me she lived like over close to the zoo, and my first question was, "Have you been to Plaza Mariachi?" And we got in a big conversation about that. So the zoo's still there. Please go. It's an awesome time with your family. Up next was, if I'm not mistaken, an episode that I was against, but you were really pushing for because it had to do with gamers.
It wasn't because of gamers, but thank you. It was just, it's a kids, I guess, focus episode about Pokemon. It's clearly a very popular. So I got it on the internet today and to check it out, and it's still popular. And that's it. It's, I mean, it's nothing has changed.
They're still billionaires.
Still killing it.
I just want to thank you for now making me like think of Pokestops when I drive by places.
No kidding, right? Like no
I
kidding.
drive by the church up the street. I'm like, yeah, there's that Pokestop.
Yep.
I've actually got an update on this episode, and it is a very serious live question for you.
All right, shoot.
So when we did that episode, at the end of the episode, we all agreed to do something, and we deleted the apps off of our phone on air. You might have heard it if you're out there.
You saw me
We
do it.
deleted it together, and I think you sleight of handed me, and I don't think you deleted that app, and I honestly think that you have been playing since.
No, I promise you I haven't. I did. The day we dropped the episode, or the day before, or the week before, I downloaded it again and got a picture of the Sam's or Hanson.
So you deleted it and re-downloaded it
just to get a screenshot picture of my Poke Buddy.
Okay. After Pokemon, we actually spent our second episode of the season going back to the movies because another big thing happened. The first one was Endgame this summer. The second one was the 9th film by Quentin Tarantino, where we kind of did a funny review, well, somewhat threw it back to our old personas and did a review on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Cool Whip and Sugar Cane. And actually, if it's not impossible, I'd like to change my rating to...
Impressive. Most impressive.
Because I think a lot about that movie, and I can't remember all the shit I didn't like.
That's exactly how it was for me. Like I've liked it okay. If I would have had to rate it like you did, like 12 hours after I watched it, I don't know if I would have rated it in the middle too. But man, I just keep thinking about it and keep thinking about it. And also, apparently, did you guys know that Tom Cruise was being considered for both of those roles? Like, not to play both of them, but he was like up for both of those parts, like, or considered.
I did read that.
No, I don't want Tom Cruise to ever be in a Quentin Tarantino movie.
I disagree.
I think if he was used as one of an undercard type things, like how they used him in Tropic Thunder, was perfect.
This is brilliant, man. Look what he did for one Scientology guy. He reboosted his career. He could really take Tom Cruise to.
Tom Cruise doesn't need his career reboosted though. Like he's already like
He's
action
about to,
movie.
yeah, he's
dude,
about to do Top Gun too.
Well, that's right. But I mean, is he even capable of like real acting?
Exactly. That's one thing I don't know. And also, like, could you imagine Tom Cruise like just smoking cigs like Leo did that movie and hacking up loogies?
Was he good? Was he good in that movie where his face got ripped off? Vanilla Sky.
I mean,
was he a good actor in that?
Okay.
It's Tom Cruise.
It's just the same Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is one of those people that is like Brad Pitt,
like Denzel.
Yeah.
And
See,
Leo.
that's why I think he could have fit right in on the. I think he would have had to have played the stuntman.
Oh, absolutely.
No. I don't think he could have done it.
So you see him in the other
role? I
role?
don't think he could have done it. I don't think he could have played either one of those roles.
Maybe the Michael Madsen role.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or he could have played Al Pacino role.
I don't know. I don't think Tom Cruise was fitted for this. Maybe like a Kill Bill. Like you put him into a Kill Bill as a side actor or something like that.
I still disagree.
No. So my update from...
Has Tom Cruise ever played a bad guy?
He had to have.
I think I don't know. I would have been very interested in that. And instead of reusing the same people all the time. Now I get it. There are people that do that. Christopher Nolan uses the same actors a lot.
Sure.
But I feel like Tarantino's different. He might be able to draw something out.
Oh, what do you guys think if McConaughey played the Brad Pitt character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
He probably could have done that.
I couldn't have dealt with that accent.
He probably could have done it. Let's hear an impression of
He
you
could
saying.
have done just as good of a job.
Give me your McConaughey impression of him saying, "I carry his load."
All right. I carry his load. Be a lot cooler if you did.
Point proven.
Man, I thought I was sitting
Actually,
beside
it should
Matthew McConaughey.
be a lot cooler if you did.
All right. So anyway, okay, yeah. Very
So
cool.
my update on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is there's been a lot of controversy over the Bruce Lee scene, and you probably have seen articles out there where his descendants, granddaughters, things like that, have been up in arms about how Tarantino portrayed Bruce Lee. But I think it was genius because when I went back and looked at it, Bruce Lee actually hated stunt actors because he was as good, if not better, than every stunt actor, and he did all his own stunts. So go back and listen to that. Up next, if I'm not mistaken, we covered Jack Daniels.
Yep.
The #1 whiskey seller in the world. We actually sat here on this podcast and give you an interactive experience where we all tasted Jack together.
Some of it was good.
Some of it was actually surprisingly good. Old boy got to sample 4 different types of lemonade.
Yep, failed miserably.
But it was great. We gave you some history of Jack Daniels, talked about the product and the brand. And the update I have for you guys is something I left out of that podcast, and I really wanted to drive it home, was they really take care of their employees at Jack Daniels. And this is a fun fact for everybody out there. If you work for the distillery of Jack Daniels, you get paid every other week, right? And on that Friday...
Hey, all right. Shit, I'm moving to Lynchburg.
And on that Friday, your payday, you actually walk home with a bottle of Jack Daniels with your check. Every single payday. Now, I've had relationships with a couple of people down there that work at Jack Daniels, and they confirm that this is true. So I said, what do you do with pretty much 26 bottles of Jack Daniels?
Stay lit.
Just the Black Label Jack Daniels?
It is just a Black Label, number 7. You get that every Friday. I've actually been there for a meeting, oddly enough, on a Friday where I see the cases stacked up right outside where they give out the checks. And it's pretty cool. Nobody ever calls out sick on those Fridays.
I'm still tripping up on the fact that they're giving out checks. Like, when was the last time you got a check from your job? Let's be honest.
Well, they still like the old way of doing things. So I asked somebody that worked there, what do you do with 26 bottles of Jack Daniels, especially somebody I met that doesn't drink? And she says this is the best and cheapest way I've ever known to give out Christmas presents. You work at Jack Daniels, you give everybody a bottle of Jack.
That's not a present I want.
Thanks, Grandma.
I don't know. We learned from that
For
podcast
the 17 bottles of Jack.
The black was the worst, but they do make very, very good products.
Yeah, they do make some good products, but yeah, the black is the worst. And that was the thing. Like, I felt like I had only had Black Label Jack Daniels before, so that's why I was not big on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Green Label and that Rye were both really solid. And that Gatorade Lemonade I heard was pretty good too.
Do you guys think at Gatorade, when they give out the checks at the end of the week, they give out a bottle of Gatorade? Hey, Jim,
I would hope
check.
they would
Here's
give
your
out
agent.
more than a 32-ounce Gatorade.
And
Yeah.
your citrus cooler.
You could probably just get as much Gatorade as you want while you work there, I would assume.
Shit, yeah. I'm moving to
I mean, that's like working at Taco Bell and eating tacos, right?
Yeah, I mean, you were technically supposed to pay for that shit, but no one did.
So, I mean, that is what we covered in the first half of our first season here at Raising Nashville. We've actually had a blast at it. We've done a lot of different topics and a lot of different things, and we've had fun with it. But like all things, it's time to kind of take a break for a little bit. So our mid-season finale is going to conclude now, but we're going to kind of give you a preview of what you can expect, coming up, because we're not going to be gone that long.
We'll be gone maybe 3 or 4 weeks, I think, while we're, just work. We've got work travel and all other
it's like the
stuff.
off season of a HBO show. Like, this is your time to catch up. You know, everybody's been talking about it. You've heard about it. Now we're giving you an opportunity to catch up before we release brand new episodes coming back in October.
Yep. And I think we're going to come back and do like a Halloween horror type themed for October, because you guys, that's like super original, right?
And it's super personal to us. We are big Halloween people.
I think
we hold traditions and we want to talk about them.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the local haunted houses here for sure, because we have Nashville Nightmare, which is one of the premier...
Top 3 in the country, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
So we'll talk about that. There's that extreme haunted house that opened up just up the street from us, too, that I feel like we probably need to visit and talk about.
A lot of haunted houses in Madison. The one he's talking about opened last year, and you can actually pay to watch people like be tortured or something.
Yeah, it sounds pretty crazy, so I'm down for checking that out. And then I think we're going to dive into the history of the Bell Witch. I know, oh boy, that's one of your favorite types of topics.
Yeah, maybe we'll go on a field trip up to Adams, visit that cave.
I don't know if I want to do that.
Okay,
Dude, that'd be pretty crazy. Then we'll probably, we'll maybe talk about trick or treating or something.
We got for the kids. We're
Yeah.
gonna give you our tips on trick or treating. It'll be fun.
Yeah, don't hand out that orange and black candy like Bucky's mom.
And then we will come back with a full circle horror movie episode. It's big to all 3 of us. We grew up in that genre, and we absolutely love talking about horror movies.
Yeah, we might have to resurrect that old debate that you guys have been having for years.
That Michael Myers has Jason's number.
You've clearly never seen a fucking movie.
See, I think I want to jump into this and just be on Freddy's side, because I feel like Freddy can step up to both of those people.
Well, you're going to have to bring a lot.
And he's got better one-liners.
That is true. But
So we hope you stick around, catch up, check out our all the ways you can access us.
Yeah, we'll still be putting out stuff on Instagram related to these episodes, and maybe any updates and just other dumb shit that we want to put on there.
Instagram, Twitter, find us wherever you're listening to your podcast. If you've enjoyed this season or any one single episode of it, please go wherever you subscribe to your podcast and like us and rate us. That's a big deal. That helps boost our numbers.
yeah, trying to get some sponsorships, y'all.
Yeah.
I've been here trying to get a scholarship.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you guys here in a couple weeks.
Are we doing any outtakes?
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, so before we go out, we're going to leave you guys with a couple of clips that got cut for either time or one that was cut because it was probably too offensive, maybe.
I don't think it was.
I don't know if
course
it's
you don't.
offensive, but yeah, of course, you wouldn't cut anything.
It came out of your mouth.
Normally you get a song at the end of our episodes. Enjoy these outtakes from the first half of season 1.
Yep.
Peace.
Raising Nashville.
I had this thought last night, and I want to ask you guys about it.
Sure.
Nashville's also known as like the bachelorette capital of the world now, right? Bachelorettes every weekend for easily the last 3 years.
Yeah. Ugh.
It's been gaining traction. It is absolutely ridiculous. There's news stories out there and everything. Here's my thought. So with all these bachelorette parties coming in town, you have bridesmaids or people that attend the bachelorette party. How many pregnancies or unwanted abortions have happened in Nashville?
Wow, that is a heavy.
What's an unwanted abortion?
Wow.
They don't want to have this abortion, but they
want the kid, but they
Yeah,
come to Nashville
but
and then
then
they're
they
like,
have
drink
to-
it off. They
Whoa.
get oceaned over.
But can't you see that? I mean, there's got to be a lot of one-night stands going on with all these parties in Nashville. These girls come here. They think we're all cowboys. We wear cowboy boots and drive pickup trucks and go downtown and drink whiskey.
I got a counter. Okay, yeah. I see what you mean. So there are all these single women coming down here. Doesn't necessarily just because you're a bridesmaid doesn't mean you're coming down here to fuck. Okay, I mean,
It doesn't.
They could be loyal.
Yeah.
Down to all right.
1%.
Okay.
No,
So-
10%.
10%. So 1 out of every 10, and
Yeah,
most
that's
of the
what I'm
groups are
saying.
about
All
10.
right, yeah. I'm bad with number. All right, so 1 out of 10 comes down to fuck. Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
And then the percentage of, okay, here's another way to think of it, or another way to prove this fact. Imagine going to the Walgreens downtown and just sitting outside the pharmacy to see how many Plan B pills are bought on Saturdays or Sundays.
Ooh, okay, all right. So you want to do this?
Yeah.
Are we gonna camp out? Are we gonna do a follow-up episode?
Will you do it for me and
I'm
report
busy.
back?
I'm super busy.
We
on
could
Saturdays
create
and
a new
Sundays.
podcast or a new episode about that.
So here's my counter argument. maybe they come to Nashville because they find guys non-threatening. Maybe they just want to come have a good time, and they're like, I want to come down here because I know there's going to be a lot of other women. I don't want to be hit on. I just want to listen to some music, dance with my girls, have a good time.
So you don't think
maybe flirt with some dudes, but I'm not. I want to have a good time without the threat of somebody.
I think it's like that
slipping
for
me a roofie.
I think it's like that for 90%, and then
90%.
There's 10%
There's
just like,
just
hey,
like-
I'm down. Like,
Scanning the scene,
she is scouting the guys who are targeting Nashville because so many bachelorettes come here.
Okay, I see. I mean, it certainly, when we were coming up, it was not the bachelorette capital, and it was nowhere near what it is today. I mean, there wasn't a bunch of single women coming down there.
There wasn't, but country music changed that. And to second to this week's episode, the reason I thought of that subject right there, and I hope it wasn't too much for you guys,
It was heavy. That unwanted abortion question. I'm still contemplating that.
That's still a little dark.
Well, the reason this is all coming about is because there was one particular CMA Fest, and I think this was about 8 or 9 years ago, but one of our mutual friends was at, I think, Lonnie's or Miss Kelly's in Printer's Alley, and he took home a girl with a lanyard, and that became a running thing for, I'd say, a couple of years. Taking home a girl with a lanyard from CMA Fest.
I gotcha. Okay.
It's like the locals.
Yeah. Okay. No comment.
So that was like a conquest thing that you guys were trying for a few years there?
I wasn't, but there were a few people that were. It was a conquest.
Give me initials.
I don't know if I want to do that. DD.
Raised in Nashville.
Not what we did. What?
Okay. I got you.
Wait, what?
Well, Charlie and I used to be in a tag team, right? We'll cut a few tag teams.
A few.
What?
We used to be in a few tag. We started out as the Righteous Brothers, and that name was taken, unfortunately. And
Yeah,
then,
it's a popular singing band, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and then who were we after that?
Well,
Were we? Oh, we were the Rude Boys. We were like a Jamaican. We had dreadlocks and stuff. And he was Rude Boy. I was
What year was this?
Yeah. What?
78.
How did you?
Summer of 78 into the fall of 79.
Right.
How did you pass as Jamaican?
Rude Boy.
God.
Rude Boy. Don't be ignoring me, tag.
No.
You know it's bad juju to do the 1-2 off the top string.
Yeah.
So it's cultural appropriation at its height.
Okay.
Yeah, people were upset.
And we couldn't wrestle anymore, actually, legally. Like, we can't wrestle anymore. Actually, what happened is, I can't even talk about it, but all I can tell you literally what it's called in legal terms is the string cheese incident.
That's right.
Good God.
We were decommissioned, I think, it was in Nashville, and that's when we were that country group. What were we? He was Wailing Pennings, and I was Willie Half Nelson.
Juice Fox, what is happening right now?
I don't know.
This went off the rails for a second.
No. We were just, but none of those fights were fixed.
No.
Is what we're getting
I
at.
came back in the 90s, though. Don't worry. I had an early 90s career. My name was Randy the Macho Man Travis. And I'm digging up bones. Oh, yeah. And my first lady, actually a guy named Roger Smith sang her song, and her name was Randy Lady.
No. Okay. Wait.
She was so hot.
So, not only do we have our personal historian here in the studio with us, he was actually a former tag team member of a complete bullshit story that I just listened to for 25
You just said
minute
that,
here.
No, wrestling, Bucky, wrestling is where, it's
where the heart is.
No,
Is that-
no.
Well, I'll probably put some lyrics right here and sing them something like this. Raised in Nashville. Raised in Nashville. Now, I can mention hot chicken or honky tonks or other local stuff if you want. Raised in Nashville. Raised in Nashville.